We'll go back to my basement. Today we will be talking about the clavicular drama, Sydney Sweeney baby outfit drama, and also some article I saw about Alec Baldwin that I wanted to discuss a little bit. So let's get right into it. First, I want to talk about the clavicular situation. So he's a weird guy. I guess he's getting really popular amongst young people with the whole looks maxing thing. I think his psychology is maybe what's most interesting. And when I heard he did a 60 Minutes interview, when I heard the way he was talking, it reminded me a lot of this guy Luka Magnotta. The way his affect, like, oh, I think that question is ridiculous. I've never had two questions asked in a row that were worse. I think that he reminds me so much of the Luka Magnotta guy. And if you don't know who that is, Luka Magnotta was this dude who was like extremely attention seeking to the point where he was doing anything for attention. He even killed somebody. I shouldn't laugh about that, but he even killed somebody for attention, pretty much. And the idea with him is that he had this cluster B mental health disorder that is called histrionic personality disorder. It's cluster B is this grouping of narcissistic personality disorder, histrionic, borderline personality disorder, and one more. I don't really remember right now, but histrionic, the main driver, the thing that characterizes what that is you really need attention. That's as if you, the same as a normal person needs food, water, shelter, they also need attention in the same way. And so they'll do whatever it takes to get it. And I feel that way about clavicular. And I see this guy getting into these controversies and doing these weird things. And the way he's talking, his affect, everything seems performative and for the attention and dangerous. Because he doesn't really care about the other people or about any of the consequences. The only thing he's looking for is the attention, which, of course, he's getting a lot of. But the problem with it is he'll keep escalating. And as I'll get into this, something just happened recently that tells me that he's escalating heavily. So a couple of controversies he's gotten into, if you don't know, he's done like a lot of steroids and I think shown people how to inject steroids on his stream, which is irresponsible, but he obviously would not care about that. He also promotes an irresponsible philosophy, but of course it's also very flawed, and most people already understand that. But for a young person who's insecure, they get upon his content, it probably does seep into them, like, oh, this is the way to live, like I need to looks max. But of course somebody who's got histrionic disorder, they need attention so bad that of course they'll fixate on something like looks. If that's what can get them attention, they'll do it. And you'll even see that with men with this disorder and with women. It would present slightly differently, I would assume, but it's interesting how all this fits into our, societal perceptions of looks and beauty. Another thing he did, I guess, was unloaded a fucking should not have said that. Unloaded a clip into an alligator. He just shot an alligator in Florida, I think in the Everglades, maybe not, but he shot an alligator, and I don't know. You can see this guy's he's insane. He claims with all these things like he has autism, which because so many people don't understand autism, I think he could just get away with. But he doesn't appear to be autistic to me. Of course, I'm not diagnosing anybody, even with the histrionic stuff. It's all speculation. I don't know this guy, but I just think it's fun to talk about. But the autism, it's hard for me to believe. And I think because so many people in the modern day just think autism is like, you're like this uncaring robot, it kind of works for him. But he clearly has way more attention-seeking behaviors, and that seem to be his primary situation rather than some other stuff going on. He also got arrested for battery for facilitating an on-stream fight between his girlfriend and some other woman. and he was loving it. I don't know. He's just stupid, I guess. To me, it's just, again, it's what can he get out of the people around him? How can he use them to get more attention for himself? And this gets to the final point on Clavicular, because, don't need to talk about him all day, is that he just overdosed on meth on stream, allegedly, apparently. He overdosed on meth on stream. And that is crazy. And what he does. So, I mean, he said, he was trying to cope with social situations or being on stream because he's autistic with using meth. I mean, come on. I don't know. And he posted a picture, I think, saying, the worst thing that happened was I got my face messed up from the mask that the EMTs put on him or whatever. He's a whack job. Young people out there should not listen to him. His philosophy is stupid. Life is not all about looks maxing. There's some benefits, I guess, to looking good, but it's not like people. And I guess you could say Clavicular's career is because he looks good, but it's really not. It's because he gains attention. And there's plenty of people who gain, look at, Stavros or something, but of course he's a talented comedian, so it's a bad example in a way, but there's people who don't look conventionally attractive who can find success. It's ridiculous thinking. Anyways, speaking of conventionally attractive, let's talk about Sydney Sweeney's situation, which she's very beautiful, and a big part of this controversy is just using her sex appeal to sell their show, to boost up interest and intrigue in the new season of Euphoria, which I've never seen an episode of the show, so I'm speaking a little as somebody who's just an outsider on this. But, so, for people who don't know what's going on, in the new season trailers of Euphoria, I think there's been a few trailers, but one of them has Sydney Sweeney in with her legs in the air in a diaper or some shit, as a baby. And the whole idea with it is that she's an OnlyFans model in the show. She's trying to make money as an OnlyFans model. And I think it's kind of hilarious that the showrunners, they use the hottest girl on the show. Like, let's just make an OnlyFans model so they can put her in all these things. But the reality is, they're just trying. They know it's intriguing to people. They know it will create controversy and sell the show, and that's exactly what's happening. People who are, women who are clutching their pearls are saying, "Oh my God, this is so wrong. This is disgusting. This is disturbing." And it doesn't change anything. All it does is it's kind of the same as me talking about the clavicular. As much as I would love for people to disengage with this content, talking about it likely increases the engagement and helps these things. It's the Trump philosophy, old Trump, not new. It still maintains, but without all this current baggage. Old Trump would be all press is good press. That's really what's happening here. And I think it's it's kind of funny. I don't find it disturbing. I thought it was kind of hot. I think Sydney Sweeney is attractive. I think they do a good job of making her more sexual as well in that show, from what I can tell, which also, of course, makes her more attractive. Yeah. I think it is funny. It's like a convenient excuse. Oh yeah, we'll get you'll be an OnlyFans model. That's the plot we'll make for your character this season after they graduate high school. You'll try and make money as an OnlyFans model. I also heard that Tarantino's next movie is about a foot model, so it's kind of funny when these types of things cross over. Okay, I think it's enough on Sydney Sweeney. I hope that show finds a success and all that. Good for them. I think people should not be too upset about some girl dressing as a baby, pretending to be an OnlyFans. It's 3 layers of pretending. It's art. You know what I mean? So, don't take it as reality. Nevertheless, I mean, I guess okay, one more point I want to make on that, actually. There is that whole thing. Huh. There is that whole thing about how men are into, like, young girls, and it's creepy, and so then she's playing into that and using, pedophilia to her advantage or whatever. It's as the character in the show, not Sydney Sweeney. I understand that. I don't think it's a particularly strong or accurate point. And the reason I say that, not to dismiss it, of course, but the reason I say this, it is a grown woman dressing up in this way and being scantily clad and, presenting her body to the camera. It's not as if it's an actual child at all. Yeah, dressing up as a child doesn't turn it into child porn. Or I don't know if I should say that word either. But that's just the reality. Okay. One last subject, which this one's a little bit, I don't know, a little silly, but really serious at different points. I saw some shit about Alec Baldwin. He shot some woman on set. A gun accidentally discharged, and he shot and killed some set woman. I think a cinematographer. Helena Hutchins, I believe is her name. He shot and killed her as she's a cinematographer on a movie he was doing. He was an actor for, and I guess it was supposed to be a fake gun or something, and it had real bullets or whatever was going on, and they shot her, and he shot her and killed her, and that's really been fucking with him. And I saw a headline with him that said he wants to retire after doing that and spend more time with his kids, which he has 7. Actually, he has 8. He has 7 with his current marriage and then 1 from a previous marriage. And I only found this a little bit funny. The funny part about this, of course, it's all a very sad situation. And if he wants to spend more time with his kids, he should. But back in the day, probably 20 years ago now, there was a leaked voicemail that he left for his 11-year-old daughter where he said some pretty, crazy things. He called her, a rude, thoughtless little pig.
I'm going to get on a plane, and I'm going to come out there for the day, and I'm going to straighten your ass out when I see you. Do you understand me? I'm going to really make sure you get it. Then I'm going to get on a plane, I'm going to turn around, and I'm going to come home. So you better be ready Friday, the 20th, to meet with me. So I'm going to let you know just how I feel about what a rude little pig you really are. You are a rude, thoughtless little pig, okay? To replay this message.
And I don't know, it was a crazy controversy. And so maybe it shows growth in Alec Baldwin, but I did find it a little bit funny or ironic that he wants to spend more time with his kids after this, when one of his biggest controversies in the public eye is that he was a bit of a dick as a father. But nevertheless, I can have compassion for him. People change, people grow, and a mistake like that probably does leave an impact on you. So, nevertheless, I think those are all the topics I want to cover in today's video. Like and subscribe. Let me know what you think, and let me know what you wanted to talk about. Yeah, have a good rest of your day. Peace out.